Howard G. Buffett, 40 Chances, Finding Hope in a Hungry World. Explore the global struggle against hunger through the eyes of philanthropist Howard G. Buffett in the book 40 Chances, Finding Hope in a Hungry World. As you delve into the book's summary, journey across the world to examine the myriad causes of hunger and discover the impact of various farming practices and food policies. Uncover the prevalence of food insecurity even in developed countries and scratch below the surface to learn about efforts, both failed and successful, in addressing this persistent challenge. Get an insight into how diverse approaches are necessary to eradicate world hunger and how sustainable solutions might be the key to lasting change.
Addressing global hunger. Howard G. Buffett, son of billionaire investor Warren E. Buffett, runs a foundation dedicated to fighting global food insecurity and has given over $200 million in grants towards self-sustainable solutions. He believes that farmers take better care of land when they own it and that he has about 40 years to tackle world hunger. Around 879 million people live in a state of food insecurity, which ultimately leads to several global issues. Buffett hopes that his foundation's efforts can help make a difference in combating world hunger's root cause. Sustainable solutions to world hunger. Sustainable solutions are needed to combat world hunger, not just quick fixes. Bringing together diverse voices and considering different climates, economies, and cultures is essential. Western farming methods may not be effective in all environments, and understanding biodiversity is crucial. Fighting hunger requires a range of approaches that go beyond soil conservation, farm subsidies, or organic farming. As a former ADM employee, the author has learned to appreciate the differences in soil worldwide. This book explores the creative solutions required to address global hunger sustainably. Buffett's pursuit of tackling global hunger. The problem of hunger and food insecurity is not limited to a particular country or culture. 1 in 6 Americans suffers from food insecurity, and up to 20 million children worldwide suffer from severe acute malnutrition. Hunger is linked to poverty, conflict, and internal disputes, making it a global issue. In his quest to tackle hunger, Warren Buffett learned the value of first-hand research, like his trip to Malawi, where he observed that people who eat termites and rodents are not necessarily starving. He also supports local initiatives like the Program for Africa's Seed Systems and Shakira's school lunch program in Colombia. He believes that linking hunger and education is one of the strategies that work everywhere in the world. Buffett's experience has taught him that addressing hunger requires considering local circumstances and economic priorities as well as long-term benefits beyond food security. Hard-learned lessons of charitable endeavors. Howard G. Buffett's book 40 Chances is filled with hard-learned lessons. Charities often fail because of their flawed planning and implementation when it comes to helping third-world countries. Buffett states that most fail to solve hunger and other issues due to the lack of a significant understanding of the country's culture and environment. The article highlights the different difficulties and challenges NGOs face when operating in countries such as Angola, South Sudan, and Mozambique. Each case study illustrates how charities get caught up in a complex web of cultural misunderstandings and political dilemmas, leading to mostly ineffective programs. For instance, in Africa, many organizations mistakenly believe that digging wells will offer a quick-fix solution to the lack of access to clean water. The author points out that charities should focus on long-term planning to mitigate the recurring issue of water scarcity. Land tenure is another critical issue in countries like Angola, Ethiopia, Sierra Leone, and Liberia. The government usually sells land to overseas investors who don't care about the locals but only want to transport or sell crops abroad. Buffett discovered that charities often tackle issues one project at a time, but fail to address the root cause of problems. He saw villagers who were starving in Angola and realized the emergency intervention was not going to change the underlying issues preventing meaningful development. In Mexico, for example, the Green Revolution approach to combat hunger was not entirely sustainable in the long run. The Borlaug approach was not universally applicable as farmers who excessively applied nitrogen fertilizers degraded the soil over time, leading to lower crop yields. Furthermore, monetization is another challenge in countries such as Mozambique. Buffett was disappointed to find charities engaging in selling donated food to underwrite other projects. This lowers local food prices, and farmers are left with zero options but to engage in destructive agricultural practices like slash and burn. In conclusion, Buffett argues that charities that seek to tackle food insecurity in third world countries should involve local actors from the inception of projects and understand their cultures. The article is highly insightful and illuminating, providing an excellent roadmap for charities seeking to operate in third world countries. Innovative solutions for food insecurity. Howard G. Buffett's search for global initiatives against food insecurity led him to discover some remarkable efforts that are achieving effectiveness. One of these efforts uses chili peppers to keep elephants at bay, reducing elephant damage in farms. In his search, Howard also discovered that some U.S. farming programs should be tweaked or dropped altogether. Howard suggests subsidizing and incentivizing highly productive farming practices that protect soil and water. Howard also highlights the importance of a reliable value chain in promoting economic collaboration, ensuring a bountiful harvest, and discouraging farmers from turning to easy money, like the poppy trade. Lastly, Howard emphasizes supporting programs that empower women. His foundation also funded studies on whether food aid leads to violence in underdeveloped countries. Research suggests that food assistance diminishes internal and external conflict. In summary, innovative solutions are needed to achieve food security, and the approach should focus on protecting both natural resources and people. Efforts for food security. In his quest for food security, Warren Buffett has identified several initiatives that he believes could inspire hope for the future. In Africa, Tony Blair's Africa Governance Initiative is developing capacity and institutions that can tackle some of the continent's biggest challenges. Brazil's no-till agricultural practices in the Cerrado have seen a drastic reduction in malnourished citizens from 11% to 6%. The World Food Programme's Purchase for Progress initiative is assisting small farmers in Central America in getting their food to market and helping them develop necessary business skills. Seattle Candy Company, Theo Chocolate is following the enlightened capitalism practice of purchasing cocoa from smallholder farmers in Congo, boosting their community's value chain ends while lifting people out of poverty. Farmers in Ghana are learning about conservation farming, leading to more significant yields more efficiently. In Nicaragua, the Agriculture for Nutrition program is training small-scale farmers on land ownership and developing the market expertise they require. Lastly, the US-based Map the Meal Gap website provides data on food insecurity, while the USDA Conservation Stewardship Program educates farmers on low-tech when it comes to soil maintenance.
After exploring the worldwide war against hunger detailed by Howard G. Buffett in 40 Chances, Finding Hope in a Hungry World, it becomes evident that temporary fixes are insufficient to solve the issue of global food insecurity. Lasting progress requires multifaceted, sustainable solutions, which may include biodiversity, conservation agriculture, and locally driven economic advancements. Alongside the discouraging tales of failed attempts, the book unveils inspiring stories of hope, such as an eco-friendly Brazilian agricultural development and effective approaches to supporting farmers in Ghana. The fight against world hunger must consider the varying social, geographical, and economic circumstances of each country or region while remaining dedicated to revealing and implementing enduring solutions.